this video would be a deals and finds, except I think the more important story is what I'm going to do with the stuff that I found. So this is a brand new, never worn Gore Tex outer, part of that layering system that the military uses. And of course, the only problem is it's in this digital tiger stripe Air Force Sage vomit in your mouth camouflage pattern. So that's why I got it for $10. Nobody wants this camouflage pattern. And I also got, and this is regular old, nothing special, not Gore Tex. This is a upper and lower rain suits, just polyurethane coated, nothing special. Anyway, I got that for $2 per piece. So this is a really high quality Gore Tex rain jacket. I have the Gen 1 of this that has the liner. And what I like about the Gen 2 is it's very spare. It has no liner because when they played around with the whole wet weather, cold weather system, and they added layers so that this is now a much thinner layer, but there's other layers that take up the slack. So I've wanted one of these because there's times where it's just not quite cold enough to wear my big upper, which comes in beautiful woodland, but I can't stand the color either. I mean, I'm not a prude. I mean, if I'm out hunting, you know, especially at night and hunting hogs, the camo doesn't come into play as much. And if I'm hunting from a stand, it doesn't come into play as much. But I still like a good camo pattern, and this is not it. So here's my idea. I'm going to try to dye it. And I know you can do the same thing I did, and you can search the internet and find places that say you cannot dye it. And then you can find a couple of YouTube videos where they did supposedly successfully dye it. Well, I'm going to give it a shot because the way I figure is if it doesn't work, the worst thing that happened is it didn't work. I guess the worst thing that happened is if it loses its water repellency or loses its breathability. And that's what people say, is that the dye is going to choke off the breathability of the Gore Tex membrane. I don't know. I reached out to Gore Tex, wrote them an email, and they basically said, we don't recommend you do anything to our stuff. So, and I don't expect them to say too much more than that because, you know, they don't want to take, you know, responsibility for what crazy stuff I'm going to do. But I'm going to do it anyway. So, and just for fun, I thought I'd throw this in there and see what it's like. So I've got some water boiling, and I've washed this Gore Tex jacket one time. Ran into a mild wash. Nowhere did I see that I needed to do that, but I just felt like since it was brand new and obviously never worn, I just felt like I needed to kind of take the shine off of it and wash it. I can't see where it hurt. And I have acquired some RIT Dye More for Synthetic in Peacock Green. And it was easy to choose Peacock Green because it was the only green that it evidently comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this water hot, and we're going to dye this bad boy and see if it takes. All right, it took a while to get that water to 200 degrees, but it's there. And the directions on the bottle said to put about a tablespoon of dishwasher soap in there, and I did. And now we're going to put in the dye, and then we'll put in the Gore Tex. All right, the dye's in. We've stirred it up. Now we're going to put the Gore Tex in, and supposed to keep it in there for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. All right, I had the Gore Tex parka in the 200 degree water. I think it actually boiled there a little bit. I'm not sure if I like that. For about 40 minutes, and sorry I couldn't show you all that, but that stuff was hot and I just didn't have the extra hands for for filming. So that's not a terrible green, and that's the green that you've come to know and love whenever we dye this ugly sage ACU. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it out and I'm going to put it on a hanger and let it dry overnight. We're going to look at it, see if there was any damage done that we physically can see. First I'm going to go ahead and wash it out several more times. I've been putting cold water on it, then pouring cold water out and kind of squishing it around, doing a kind of a whore's bath, if you were. But so we're going to do that, and we'll see what it looks like in the morning, and then we're just going to have to wait for it to rain so we can find out if the thing actually still has its Gore Tex properties, its superpowers. All right, it is the next day, and it doesn't look like we lost very much of the pigment. It looks like that's a pretty nice green. I have it inside out. Last night I came out and turned it inside out so it could continue drying completely. And one thing I did want to look at is the tape. This tape is on the seams, and it's supposed to give it its additional waterproofedness. Obviously, Gore Tex is the membrane that makes it breathable and waterproof, but wherever there's a seam, you know, obviously it has to be taped up with some waterproof tape in the old-fashioned way. So it's nice and dry now. And also, this stuff ended up dyeing fairly well. It's splotchy. It's very splotchy. You can see there's a splotch. But I'm not unhappy. This, like I said, these were $2 a piece. They're just very light rain gear. And I'll tell you where they're going to go. They're going into my EDC Get Home kit. You know, it can't hurt. They weigh next to nothing, so they're going to go into my EDC Get Home kit as just an extra layer of rain gear. I think the only thing I have in my daily driver Get Home kit is a poncho, so it'll be nice to have this. Got to make sure that this is large enough, but I think it is, and so that's where that's going to go. That's just an added bonus, but the real conversation is this. Now, there's no rain in the forecast, and I really want to be able to find out something about this. So until we get some rain, and next time we get a real good rainstorm, I'm going out in this thing for sure to see how it does. But until we get some rain, we're just going to have to, I don't know, try something else. All right, so as you saw in that little bit of silliness, I spent about 5 minutes in front of the sprinkler, and the back is totally dry. It's funny, it's pretty warm here. Let's see how warm it is. I guess I should have been ready for this. Okay, so it's about 85 degrees here, and I was out there in the sun. And it's really interesting because as the water hit my back, the change in temperature, the coolness I felt, I mistook for wetness, and it wasn't. It was just the temperature change when that cold water hit was extreme. So I know that's not much of a test. It's laughable as far as it being an actual test of this Gore Tex. But I promise you that when it finally rains, I'm going to get this stuff on and go out and stand in it, and I'll either make a video, or if I don't feel like it rates its own video, I'll throw this in as part of another video, just so that I can complete the circle and show you the results. I feel pretty good about it. I certainly feel pretty good about this camo pattern. You know, it's a nice green tiger stripe now, digital tiger stripe, and instead of being that ugly sage, like my wet trousers. Very happy with it. In the interim, of course, if it did ruin the Gore Tex ability of the fabric, then of course it was all for naught. And I'm just out $10 for the jacket and something like $8 for the Rit Dymore. But so far it looks pretty good, and we're going to call this a win so far. And I will definitely, I promise to circle back and let you know the final results. Hey, thanks for watching.